Hello and welcome back to Knit Until I Die. My name is Jamie. I am a knitter and a crocheter out of southeastern Wyoming. And today I am going to talk a little bit about the Woobles kits, the Woobles yarn, and show you a few things that I have worked on since my cousin so graciously sent me these kits. Now, I did not purchase the yarn. I did not purchase the kits. I already had stuffing at the house and a few other things, extra safety eyes and things like that for what I'm working on. So let's jump into it. Okay, so my lovely cousin Doreen went on to Amazon and purchased several different Woobles kits. And for the life of me, I cannot figure out where the one that I've been kind of playing with went. However, I'm going to show you kind of the stuff that comes in the kit so that you have an idea if you choose to purchase this. So this is the, they call it the wee wobbly bits, but in here you've got your safety eyes, you have some black yarn if you need to embroider, and then it also will have a darning needle, a metal darning needle. And then this piece right here is a little card. You can pull it out, and on the back you'll have a thing that you scan to get to the actual pattern for this one. And this one is Felix the Fox. Okay, so in your lovely little bag here, you've got this. Then you've got your Wooble yarn that you're going to make the main part of the your piece out of. And then if you have other supporting yarns, like this one comes with white and with black, that will come in there as well. So you have everything you need yarn-wise to create this particular piece. They also, in every kit, will send you a Woobles 4mm crochet hook and then enough stuffing to stuff your piece. So if you're just learning how to crochet and you don't have a lot of hooks and you don't have a lot of yarn and you really don't know where to start, these kits would be awesome for you. I know a lot of people have really had a lot of fun with them and have learned a lot with them. With the pattern, you can actually download the PDF pattern, which is what I did. I didn't need to watch all of the videos that they offer. However, if you've never crocheted before, these are pretty awesome because with the pattern, you get quite a few different lovely videos that I hear are really good at explaining things. I'll be honest with you, I didn't need them, so I didn't look for them. When you go to start your piece, what you'll find is that everyone, they've started for you because you have to work into a magic ring. And for beginners, that's pretty difficult. Even for some people that are more advanced, that can be difficult. You get 3 stitch markers with every kit. You also get 3 safety eyes with every kit. In the black yarn, in this particular piece, there's black yarn to embroider for the ears, but then there's also black yarn to if you need to embroider the eyes on, and that comes in every kit. So you don't have to use the safety eyes in your kit. Sorry, I'm making noise. If you don't want to. So obviously I've opened my kits, but I have not actually worked on all of them. Let me close this back up and get it out of the way. So the first kit that I worked on is for Nikki, the chicken, I believe is how they put it. And the yarn that my cousin also bought me some of the Woobles yarn. And so this yarn is called, let me turn it this way, maybe we can see it better. What's Up Buttercup. This yarn is cotton and polyester. It's a medium, or I'm sorry, cotton and nylon. It's a medium 4 weight or worsted weight. And you're supposed to use the 4mm crochet hook. So I downloaded the pattern and I worked through the pattern and did it as it called for. And this is what my piece ended up looking like. Not quite the way that they showed on their, on the pattern. However, we all make different choices as we're crocheting and as we're sewing on our pieces. So that makes things look a little different. So this was my first one. This one I like a lot better. This one I made a couple of modifications. So this one is my second one that I did. Still basically following their pattern, but making a few changes. This one, again, I was following their pattern, but I made a few changes. And then this is my last one. I ran out of the orange yarn that came in the kit for the nose. So I just chose to use black. So I got, out of that kit, I got 3 orange noses. For the chickens. I had enough yellow yarn to make 1 chicken and part of a second. My cousin bought me that, like I said, the yellow buttercup yarn. And this is what I have left. However, I was also working on something else. There's another pattern that I purchased that's not a Woobles pattern. And I have not sewn on the eyes yet. But this is basically a rubber ducky pattern from Crochet Vision. I changed the beak from her version to a little different. And I'm going to sew on black eyes. So I got a good amount of amigurumi pieces, as well as inspiration from what I got from the kit. So did I like it or did I not like it? That's in the next segment. Okay, so what are my feelings about these kits? I think if you're a brand new beginner and you've never done any type of crocheting and not done any like amigurumi or stuffies, that this is a great place to start if that's what you want to do. Any art, you can create almost anything you want out of crochet, out of knitting, out of weaving, out of sewing. It's an art. Anything that we create really is an art. And it's based on, us following the pattern, but also us using our own intuition, our own creativity. So as an experienced crocheter, the pattern was very easy, and I think anybody could pick it up and crochet following their pattern and their videos. I didn't particularly care for it. I tried sizing down on my hooks a couple times to see if I could get my hooks to basically give me a piece with no holes. Just one sec. So this is another piece that I'm working on right here. So this is a plushie, and I'm making it out of Bernat yarn, Bernat blanket, and there are absolutely no holes. This head is already stuffed. There are no holes whatsoever. You cannot see any stuffing. And it didn't matter how far I went down on my hook size. You could always see that. I don't know if you can really see it, but in real life, I can see the stuffing poking through. And I went all the way down to a 2.5, and that was still happening. And I was not thrilled with that. The yarn, I think, would be awesome for clothing, for bags. It's got a lot of stretch to it. It's got, I hate to say it this way, but it's got body to it, right? It's going to hold up pretty well. You can wash it and you can dry it. So this is I think this is a good workhorse yarn. Like if you were going to make clothing or you were going to make bags, I think this would hold up. The issue that I have with it is that for what you get, it's awful expensive to buy this yarn. I would much rather go on and buy something on clearance or in bulk to get those discounts and, you know, work with that stuff. But I haven't really seen like big discounts and big sales and stuff on the Woobles. It would have to come down quite a bit for me to buy any of the Woobles yarn. I think, like I said, I think it would be great for bags or clothing, but not so great for amigurumi, I don't think. I just don't like the holes. And a lot of times when you're doing amigurumi, you have to go way down on your hook. So what's the difference between an amigurumi or a plushie? Size of crochet hook that you use and the type of yarn you use. So oftentimes when you're talking to somebody that does amigurumi, oh, there it is. I knew I'd kept it. So this is what Nikki's bag looks like, and this is what she's supposed to look like. Unfortunately, mine never really quite came out this way. My mom said that all four of them came out pretty cute. So when you talk to someone that does amigurumi on the regular, you're going to find out that oftentimes they're using hook sizes like 1.5 millimeter, 2 millimeter. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not that big of a fan of hooks that small. And I'm sorry, Humphreys is sniffing, so everything is moving. So I just wanted to show you that if you work with a 4 millimeter, like with Karen Simply Soft, you get basically the same thing. You get these holes, which I knew I would. I just was messing around because I wanted to show that this 4 weight, let me see if I can find something that I didn't fix. Maybe right here. Yeah, you can see those holes just as good as you can see these holes. And they're both 4 weight yarns. If you're going to use a 4 weight yarn or worsted weight or a double knit, something like that, you really need to be using a much smaller hook. And I can do it if I really want to, but I'm going to tell you, I don't have motivation to do that. It's not something that I particularly enjoy. I'm going to tell you, making things to wear, to use, sometimes I like making things that I or people I know could use or might want. Now I've heard a lot of people, talking about, you know, how learning from Woobles or something isn't really learning how to crochet, and it is learning how to crochet. My main beef with it is that it's set up for someone. The good thing about it is it's set up for someone that has never crocheted before. But that's also a downside, because after you've made one of these, you should be able to read their pattern and do the others. But what you're going to get is an extra hook in every kit. You're going to get an extra darning needle in every kit, and you're going to get extra stitch markers in every kit. And like, there's positives and there's negatives. I've been crocheting since I was about 5 years old, and this is my bag of crochet hooks. Yes, it's a makeup bag, but I don't wear makeup, so this is what I use it for. And it is like absolutely stuffed full of crochet hooks, and I don't need more 4mm. And so if you could buy like the full kit the first time, but then after that buy like a partial kit that just has the yarn, maybe some extra stitch markers in it, and then like the safety eyes, I think that would be better for people that already crochet, especially if you already made one of these kits. It seems kind of redundant to get a hook and a darning needle in every one. And yes, I have a boatload of hooks. I have a lot of 4s, a lot of 5s, 5.5mm, because those are the ones that I typically, well, and 6s are generally the ones that I tend to use the most. And right now 5.5 seems to be kind of my go-to. Another yarn that I've used that is a bit similar to the Woobles yarn isn't actually considered a yarn, but it works up very similar, and it is actually a lower cost. I don't particularly care for Hobby Lobby. I have my reasons for it, just like everybody has their reasons for everything. However, Hobby Lobby has braided basics small 2mm braided cord, and you get 274 yards out of that for $5 plus tax. Whereas the Woobles yarn, you're getting a little bit less on your yardage. What did I do with that? Here it is. You are getting 164 yards for over $10. This is $5, and it's not quite twice. This yarn works up the same as the Woobles yarn. Right now, I think it only comes in 3 colors, and I realize that it's for macrame, but I'm gonna tell you, like, it actually is awesome for doing the market bags, but it is, you know, if you wanted to do work on like your amigurumi skills, this would be something very similar to what they're using there. That's not acrylic. This is cotton, polyester, rayon, and then some metallic in it. This is another good workhorse yarn. I would not want this against my skin like in clothing, but I think that it would make wonderful hats, like if you were making a summer hat, or if you were practicing your amigurumi, or you're making a bag. This is actually a really good buy. I so far have not found anything with the same yardage that is similar in price. I wish it came in a lot more colors, but right now it doesn't. So it's a Yarn Bee yarn from Hobby Lobby, and I got it in a golden natural, white, and olive. And so far it's working up really nice, and I do enjoy this yarn better than the Woobles yarn. So all in all, as an experienced crocheter, I didn't particularly care for the kit. I have 3 more that I'm supposed to work on. Just one moment. Sorry, we had a guest. He wanted to come and say hi. This is Humphreys. He is my smooth coat, black and tan, supposedly miniature dachshund, but he's a bit bigger than a miniature dachshund. So, like I said, as an experienced crocheter, this really wasn't my thing. However, I recognize that these kits would be really good for someone that is new, especially if it's someone that doesn't know. If you're new, you wouldn't know how to read patterns, right? But you might, if you're coming from another thing like knitting or weaving or something, you'd have the general idea. But if you've never worked with patterns, I think that these kits are good because they teach you how to crochet. They teach you how to read a pattern. They teach you some pretty important skills. So it's, oh, thank you. Yes, you're a nice boy. So it's good for beginners, but I'm not a beginner. I will say though that if you know someone who wants to learn how to crochet, even though they're kind of expensive, not kind of, they are expensive, this is a good kit. I also know that there are quite a few people that own their own crochet business, that write their own patterns, that have started putting together their own kits that are kind of similar to this. But I think because they work with the, because they designed their own patterns and they make those patterns, they make those pieces, they make the kits individually by hand. I think supporting small businesses is really good. And I think that getting a kit from someone that has crocheted that particular, oh, thank you, that particular plushie or stuffy, or amigurumi, you know, many times, oftentimes up into the hundreds, they're going to be the best person to teach you how to create that. And they're going to teach you all the skills that you need to know too. So anything that you can get in a Woobles kit, you can also get in kits from people that have crochet businesses that sell their patterns, and they will put kits together. And it's very similar to what the Woobles have, but I think that it's a little bit more, how do I say this? It's individualized because they know their specific patterns, and you're getting the exact yarn that they're using. You're getting the exact same tools. And I'm not 100% sure that the person that crocheted, because you can even see here, little holes, like maybe the stuffing might be pushing through. I just don't think that these kits are great. They're good to teach you the basics, but I don't think that they're good to teach you how to do amigurumi, or teach you how to make plushies. If you want to learn how to do that, there are a ton of tutorials and things on YouTube. If you're looking for yarn and you're really struggling to be able to find it, go to like a thrift store or a secondhand store and buy the blankets, the crocheted blankets or knitted blankets, and rip up, not that you ever want to, diss anybody else's work, but if it's there, it's on its way to a landfill. So I don't feel bad about going in there and buying something and then ripping out what somebody else created. And yes, I realize they spent a lot of their hard time and skill on it to get that yarn back to use it for something else. Is it going to be as perfect as yarn from the store? No. But it works, especially when you're learning and you don't have a lot of money to spend on a lot of yarn. That is one way to get a good deal on yarn. Another way is to really shop the clearance. And that may mean that you don't get the colors that you want, or or you don't get quite the quantity you want. But if you're really struggling, that's the way to get your yarn, is to find a way to get it at a discounted price. Because I have seen yarns go up, and everything in cost has gone up. Transportation and groceries and the whole world, I think, has seen an increase in cost of everything. So I don't blame the companies. It's just kind of part of what's going on in our world. But I also think that we can do our part and use things like from a Salvation Army or a church secondhand store or a thrift store, and we can take things, yarn, clothes, whatever, and we can upcycle them and use them for something else, because then that keeps them out of the landfill, at least for a while. It keeps them out of the landfill, and you can do some good with it, which I think is a positive. In today's world, we have a lot of fast fashion where things end up in the landfills a lot. And I'm not sure that we think about that enough. Yeah. But we can always find ways around that. And as a crocheter and a knitter, even though, truth be told, I buy stuff on clearance, I buy stuff all over the place, but I also buy stuff sometimes at full price, which when I do that, well, I still try to get it on clearance actually, or at least find a way to get a deal on it. Like when we're buying yarn, like when we buy wool yarn, when we go to Brown Sheep Company, that's where I got this one. We go to the store to buy it. We don't buy it online. Why? Because you get a discount if you go to the store. We live close enough to be able to go to the store. It's about an hour and a half away from our house. So it's not like I could bebop over there every other day or something. But when I can go and we can get yarn, that's what we're going to do, is go there. Except for Interweave, which will be coming up in a couple of months down in Loveland. We'll go down to, I hope anyways, that's the plan, is to go down to Interweave. And when we go down to Interweave, what we are going to probably do is see what yarns they have for half price, because that's the only place you can get their yarn for half price from them. Sometimes if you watch like Facebook Marketplace, sometimes you can get some decent deals there. Sometimes if you're looking for an older yarn that was maybe discontinued like a year or two ago, sometimes you can find them on eBay, but for me, eBay has been a real miss. We've gotten a couple of good deals on Facebook, but realistically, I buy either on clearance or I try to find a way to get a discount. Michael's Pro is really nice because you can get a discount on buying something when you buy it in bulk. Sometimes I've bought yarn from like the dollar store, Dollar Tree, because you can buy it in bulk and get it for, well, when I was doing it, you could buy it in bulk and basically get it for $1 a skein. And last time we did that, we were getting Lily Sugar and Cream, Peaches and Cream, one of them, the small ones. And in the store, like at Walmart, they were like almost $2. And we were getting them for $1 a skein at Dollar Tree, but you had to buy a whole box. And I think a whole box was like 60 or 64. But the way that we use yarn, we knew we were going to use them. And so that's why we went that way, because it was a discount. Sometimes we get given yarn. People know that we like to knit, that I like to knit and crochet, and my mom crochets. So sometimes people will give you yarn. Sometimes if you go and become a part of like the local knit or crochet group, sometimes people will bring yarn in that they don't want, and then you can get yarn that way. because we have other things we have to pay for, right? And, you know, $11 for 164 yards just blows my mind. That price I got off of Amazon today. So if you were wondering, I did not go to the Woobles website. I went on Amazon and looked it up. I don't know. I think that it's a good thing for beginners, like I said, but as someone that has been around the block for a while, it's not really my thing. Honestly, I think it would, my personal opinion, and that's what this is, just my personal opinion, I think that they could have chosen a better yarn. Something that is more, because you can get machine wash and dry yarns that are a little bit more fluffy, have more of kind of a chenille or a blanket yarn type texture, or a velvet type texture. And I think something like that would make these kits what you get on the other side of it. I think that it would come out cuter, and that you would learn the same skills, but it is sometimes harder to actually count your stitches when the yarn is thicker than when it's thinner. And maybe that's why they chose to go with that, something like that yarn. But I really think if they had a different yarn and a way for you to get like the yarn and the pattern and the safety eyes like as a kit without the hook and maybe without the darning needle, I think that would be a good thing as well, because they could have like the starter kit, right, where you get everything in it, and then the other kits would be labeled, you know, like medium kits or a little bit experienced or fledgling kits or something, you know, and then they just wouldn't have quite as much of the extra in it. And I think that for people that are a little bit more experienced, I think that would make these kits more desirable. Like I said, the pattern was easy to follow. And of course, I don't like sewing, so that may be part of my issue is you have to sew on the wings, you have to sew on the beak, and if you don't use the safety eyes, then you have to make eyes and sew them on, or embroider them on. And none of that is really my favorite thing to do, sewing. However, I have been, well, actually I was keeping up with my ends until yesterday. So I do have some stuff that like needs ends woven in and whatnot. And I think that's probably what I'm going to work on when I see you guys on Saturday. So just a reminder for everyone, I do a live every Saturday, pretty much every Saturday, unless there's something going on with the power, because my Wi-Fi is controlled by the power. However, I do my live on Saturdays, 1 p.m. Mountain. So if you're not sure, just look up what time it is in Denver. That's whatever 1 o'clock is in Denver is when I do that. And then I'm going to be posting a weekly video. I'm not sure that I'm going to be doing vlogs, but I will be doing a video, weekly video on Wednesday, probably more talking about what I've been working on for the week, and we'll see how that goes. I am on YouTube, and I am on Twitch, and I am on Instagram, Knit Until I Die. I haven't posted a lot on Instagram. There's a few things, but there's not a lot. I need to get better at taking pictures and posting things. But that's where we are tonight. On Saturday, I will see you guys for the live. In the meantime, if you want to see some of the other stuff that I've done or some of my other videos, I do have a few kind of like check-in videos about what I'm working on. I have a couple silent videos. I also have several lives that are recorded, and you can go back and watch those on YouTube. So I guess I will see you on Saturday. Please, please remember, you are wanted, you are needed, and you are loved. Remember to be kind to everyone, including yourself, and I'll see you on Saturday.